George's birthday, 59. No, really, I guess we're here for Corey. But, first and foremost, I'm a Virginian through and through. And although Corey isn't a native Virginian, he is definitely, in my book, an honorary one. He knows his Virginia history more than most that I've known. He's fighting for Virginia. He's a proven winner. 4 times in Northern Virginia without backing down on conservative principles, especially up in Northern Virginia. We know that. He stuck to his guns on a lot of the toughest crackdowns on illegal immigrants, and he's for us Virginians. He really is. He's the front runner that's going to fight for Virginia, fight for any legal resident of Virginia.
Good.
I think he's going to be our man. He's going to take Virginia back, and there's only one a Republican that can do it. Levi, can you come up here for a second? This is my grandson, 4-year-old Levi, and he's got something to say. Who would you like to introduce?
That was the best introduction ever. Thank you. Well, hello from Halifax County. How you doing tonight? Yeah. I'm going to stand up from right out here a little bit. Great to be down here. Really is great. You know, I know we're getting a lot of support down here, and it was in Danville last Saturday for the Old South Ball.
Yeah.
Had a really great time, and we knew we were going to have a good time. We knew we were going to get a lot of. All right, thank you. We knew we were going to have a good time, but we knew we were going to get a lot of attention too, especially from the press. We put what you call Facebook Live. We did a live video feed from it, and I delivered a speech there. And so far, and this is on Saturday, 100,000 people have viewed that video. 100,000. Yeah. They're not all nice. They're not all nice. And some of these people that are viewing this thing are saying the most obnoxious things about me. I mean, they're comparing me to everybody. It's really been terrible in many ways. But look, it's a discussion we have to have, because for too long, we've been letting the mainstream media, we've been letting the liberals and the Democrats, and we've been even letting a lot of establishment Republicans try to convince us that there's something wrong with our heritage of Virginia.
That's right. That's right.
And we're not going to let it happen, because that ends today. It ends right now. We have everything to be proud of here in Virginia. Everything. I wasn't born here. But you know something? I chose this state because I love this state. I chose this state because of its history and its heritage. There's everything to love about Virginia. And I'll tell you that over my dead body will we remove a single statue of Robert E. Lee or any other Virginian. When you say you're from Virginia, when you travel outside of this state, and somebody asks you where you're from, you say with pride, I am from Virginia. I'm very, very proud of it. You're very, very proud of it. And why is it? It's because of our history, folks. It's because of our history. This is the state of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and James Monroe. It's the state of the founders. It's the state of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. But it's also the state of Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson and J.E.B. Stewart.
Yeah.
Because at the base of it, Virginians, we think for ourselves.
Yeah.
And if the established order is wrong, we rebel.
Amen.
We did that in the Revolution. We did it in the Civil War. And we're doing it today. We're doing it today because they're trying to rob us of everything that we hold dear. Our history, our heritage, our culture. And for too long, Republicans, it's really shameful. And not just Republicans, but a lot of Democrats certainly, and a lot of Republicans. As soon as someone celebrates their heritage or their history, they're labeled. They're labeled. You go to the Old South Ball and suddenly the press, it's an amazing thing. They try to label us as bigots and racists because we're celebrating our heritage. And they label that the flag, the battle flag of Northern Virginia, of the Army of Northern Virginia. They try to label it, they say that it stands for racism and hate and bigotry and all this stuff. Nothing can be further from the truth. That's not true at all. And if anybody thinks that their heritage or their history or their country, wherever they're from, or their history is pristine, pure, it's not. Everybody's got their warts in their history. But that doesn't mean that you toss it out. Because, yes, it is true that slavery was legal in Virginia and it was practiced here. But that is not the whole of what we are.
Or you, as a
or
candidate.
me, or any of us. And so that's why it's so important. Now, I was down in Charlottesville with my wife, Maria, and we went there with a conservative, black conservative named Thaddeus Dion Alexander. We went down to the statue in Charlottesville of Robert E. Lee. It's been there since 1924. 1924. And we were mobbed by all of these, it's called the indivisible crowd. Right? They're funded by George Soros. Yep. And before we got there was undercover cameras. We were taking the undercover cameras. Rob Schilling's got a radio show up there. But what it showed is this. The left is organized. They're deliberately trying to intimidate and embarrass us. So there they were throwing out these t-shirts for all these different radical left groups, Black Lives Matter, the whole works. And they were telling them what to chant, how to chant, where to do it. They were telling them to put the megaphone right against my ear, the whole thing. And they're trying to intimidate us. And they're going around the entire country to conservative Republicans' town hall meetings. And they're trying to shut us down. They're trying to shout us down. They're trying to stifle free speech. They're saying some of the most hateful stuff that you can possibly imagine. You know, that's just like the left, isn't it? They accuse us of what they are doing.
That's right. Yeah.
There's no hate in this room.
Nope.
There's no hate. There was no hate down in Danville at the Old South Ball. I didn't see any. I saw a diverse crowd, in fact. We're not trying to shut down free speech. The left is trying to shut down free speech. And here's the thing that I, as a Republican, am tired of. And I've been tired of it my whole life. Political correctness. Yeah. Because political correctness is a bondage, folks. It is a bondage. Political correctness is an attempt to shut down our most valuable freedom in this country. And that's our freedom of expression, our freedom of speech. And we've been running away from it. And you have all these establishment Republicans, including my establishment opponent. I call him Establishment Ed. As soon as the pressure's on, and somebody throws up the label of racism or bigotry, they go running to the hills. Running to the hills. They want nothing. They won't touch a controversial issue. They're living in fear. It's time to stop living in fear. It's not the only issue in this campaign, but it's pretty darn important, folks, because if you lose your heritage, and by the way, the city of Charlottesville made it clear, they're not done. When they're done with Robert E. Lee, they're not done.
That's right.
Because after they're done removing the statue of Robert E. Lee, they're going after the statue of Thomas Jefferson in Charlottesville. And when they're done with Thomas Jefferson, and they're done in Charlottesville, it goes on to Richmond. And pretty soon all the statues of all of our heroes, they're gone. And when they're done in Richmond, they're going to be coming up to Arlington and Alexandria and Williamsburg until they're all done. It's all gone. And when our heritage is gone and our history is gone, that's it.
Not with Governor Stewart.
Our identity.
Statue of Stalin somewhere.
Our identity is gone at that point. And it's something I never understood. Why is it okay for someone to come here illegally from El Salvador, or Guatemala, or Honduras, or wherever, to fly their flag, but somehow it's wrong for us to fly the flag of our heritage? Makes no sense at all. So I want to let you know something. That when I'm governor, we are going to sign legislation and we are going to prohibit any locality anywhere in Virginia from removing any statue of any hero in Virginia. I'm not afraid of controversy. I never have been. In fact, I kind of feed on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I love a fight. I love a fight. Because you know what controversy is? You know what it is? It's an opportunity to show leadership. And that's what people want right now. That they're hungering for it. That's why, at last, we have a real president of the United States in all People are waiting, they're hungering for people to stand up and fight for them. That's what we have to do. And it's not just about me, it's about all of us. And in Virginia, we have an opportunity because there are only 2 elections this year in the nation that matter. The governor of Virginia and the governor of New Jersey. And we know we're not going to win New Jersey. So whatever we do in Virginia is going to send reverberations across the country. And it's going to send the signal in 2018 about what kind of Republicans we're going to nominate for Congress, the House, the Senate, and several governorships, and several state houses. Are we going to continue to embrace the establishment who never stand up for anything, who always back down when the pressure is on, who are bought and paid for by the lobbyists? And by the way, Ed Gillespie himself is a lobbyist.
That's true.
He just released his finance report today, folks. He raised $1.8 million in a quarter. Most of that money came from out of state. He went down there with Jeb Bush down to Texas and raised all that money from all this establishment crowd. So the question for you is, are you going to allow Ed Gillespie and the establishment to buy this election?
No.
Are we going to take back our state from the establishment, and are we going to be proud of our history here in Virginia? I've won 4 elections in Northern Virginia, countywide. We have countywide elections for the chairman. We directly elect the chairman up in Prince William County and in Fairfax and Loudoun. Most of the counties, they select from among their sitting supervisors the chairman for a year or so, and then they rotate it. Not so up there. It's like being a big city mayor. And I've done that 4 times. I've been directly elected. I've been the chairman of that board for 10 years. 2006, special election. That was a tough year, by the way, especially in Northern Virginia. That's the year that George Allen lost. 2007 was a re-election of 2011, 2015, by increasing margins. And this county's tough. It's 54% minority. They voted 60-40, roughly, for Obama twice in 2008 and 2012, and even more than that for Hillary Clinton. I've been able to win it. I've been able to win it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I work hard. I always work hard, whether it's an election year or not. I visit all the churches. I go everywhere, everywhere. But most importantly, people are looking for strong leadership, even when they disagree with you. If you hold your ground and you don't back down, people respect that. They respect it. And in 2007, I'm going to tell you about a couple of things that happened. We had some horrendous murders and other horrendous crimes committed by illegal aliens. And the community came to me and they said, can you do anything about it? And I said, I don't think so, but we're going to certainly look into it. So we put into that year something called the 287G authority. And what that does is it allows us as local law enforcement officials to cooperate with the federal government to identify criminal illegal aliens in our community. And as they're in jail, we start the process for the deportation.
That's right.
And Linda Chavez, anybody remember her?
Well.
Establishment Republican. She worked for the Bush administration. She came down there. She thought she was so high and mighty. She sat up there and she was drilling down. Mr. Stewart, why'd you put this policy in place? I said, Ms. Chavez, do you realize how many illegal aliens are committing crimes in this county? And I asked her, do you realize that 80% of the gang members of MS-13, a violent illegal alien gang, 80% of those are illegal immigrants. And they're committing horrendous crimes in our county. So we put that policy into place. And within 3 years, our violent crime rate plummeted by 48.7%. Somebody's arrested in Prince William County, we inquire into their immigration status. Once they're in jail, it's 100% check. 100% check. We check everybody's immigration status. We don't care whether somebody's white, black, Hispanic, Asian. We don't care. We check immigration status. If somebody is here illegally, we begin that deportation processing, and then after they serve their sentence, we hand them over to the federal government for deportation. So far, since 2008, when we started enforcing the policy, more than 7,500 criminal illegal aliens have been handing over to the federal government. It's working. It's common sense. Not one case. We have 660 police officers, plus the sheriff's department. This policy has been in place since 2008, and not one single case of racial profiling. Not one. The policy is still there. And that is what we're going to do all over Virginia. It's going to be the policy in every county, every town, every city of this Commonwealth. And here's why. MS-13 is a brutal gang. When we put that policy into place, MS-13, a lot of them left Prince William County. Somewhere around 20 to 25,000 people left Prince William County because they knew if they were here illegally, they either better A, get out of town or keep their nose very, very clean. And that's what happened. And a lot of them went up to Fairfax County, a lot of them went up to Montgomery County, Maryland, and just within the last few weeks, as you might have recognized, brutal murders of teenage girls. And I won't go into too much detail because there are some children here. Really, really brutal. And those are happening in Fairfax, and in Montgomery County, Maryland, and elsewhere up there. And just 10 days ago, in Lynchburg, Virginia, not in Northern Virginia, not in Hampton Roads, in Lynchburg, a 17-year-old 11th grader, Virginia boy, is abducted by MS-13. They mutilated him alive, and then they killed him.
Now where's the media with all this stuff?
And where is the media?
Where is the media?
And those 3 illegal aliens who did that crime, here's the thing, had committed previous crimes in the United States, including in Virginia. If we had had our policy in place that we have in Prince William County, of checking immigration status of every single person who commits a crime, and then deporting them if they're illegal, Ray Wood, who was murdered, would still be alive today.
That's right.
And that is why the #1 job of every level of government, whether you're a local supervisor, a state senator, or governor of Virginia, or president of the United States, the #1 job is to protect the lives and the property of the citizens you serve. And if you can't do that properly, you don't belong in office. And when I'm governor, it's going to be number one. It's going to be job number one. I'm unapologetic about being tough on illegal immigration because I have, it's not that I don't have sympathy, folks. It's not that I don't have compassion. I've got a lot of it. I really do. But I have the most compassion for all of you and for the innocent citizens who are victims of crimes committed by people who aren't supposed to be here in the first place. It's not the only issue. There are a lot of other issues. And the last one I'm going to leave you with is this, and I'm going to take some questions. We got to get jobs back in Virginia.
Yes.
We got to get jobs back. Now, my opponent says he wants to cut taxes. But you look at his plan, do you know how much he's going to cut spending? Zero. Not a nickel. You know, in Prince William County, our property values dropped during the big recession, the biggest one after World War II. Housing values dropped by 60%. 60%. And we could have just increased the rate to offset the drop in values, but we didn't. We cut, because we had to, $185 million out of our base budget in 1 year.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it was. There was a lot of pain in there. But as a result of that, our tax bills for the average household went down by more than $400 in a single year. And even today, all these years later, the average tax bill in Prince William County is lower than when I took office. In fact, it's about 30% lower than the rest of Northern Virginia. Now, I bring that up to tell you that it can be done. And it must be done. And we will do it in Virginia. It's the only way we're going to be able to bring down taxes in this Commonwealth, income tax. The only way we can help small business is to bring down the personal income tax, because most small businesses pay taxes at the marginal income tax rate. It can be done. North Carolina, just a few short miles from here, had the highest marginal income tax rate in the Mid-Atlantic. They had 7.75%. Wasn't too long ago, 2010. Do you know what it is today as of January 1st? 5.49%. North Carolina has been ratcheting down its income tax, and that's where the jobs are going. Tens of thousands of jobs have left Virginia, and they're going to places not just around the world, but they're going to North Carolina, because North Carolina is doing something right by reducing taxes. And what we're going to do is we're going to ratchet down the income tax, and in 1 year, we are going to cut annually $5 billion out of Virginia's budget. We're going to cut spending by each of the departments by on average about 10%. And with it, we are going to deliver the biggest tax cut in Virginia history. And with it are coming back the jobs, folks. Instead of losing 10,000 manufacturing jobs every year, we're going to be gaining those jobs. And that is what I'm going to do as governor. Now, folks, there's a lot of work to get done, and I just want to say this. If you can help me out, I appreciate it. We need volunteers. This is going to be won on the ground. It's going to be won with the grassroots. Very, very low turnout. Maybe 4 to 5% of the electorate is going to be voting out. Now, Gillespie's going to be spending millions of dollars on big, fluffy TV ads that no one's going to watch and no one's going to believe because they're false. We are going to win this on the ground. We're going to win it on social media. We're going to win it on the doors. We're going to win it on the telephones. We're going to win it at your workplaces. But I need your help. So please sign up to volunteer. We get you wrapped in. And for those of you who are watching online and you want to help out, even if you don't live in Virginia, you can always go to my website and you can donate, because we do need money. I'll be very honest. www.coreystewart.com and on Facebook as well. So just remember this. Our spirits are high. And I'm going to end it on a little bit of good news. So a poll came back just yesterday, Quinnipiac poll. It had me way down back in December. That's because people didn't know who I was. We've been running an aggressive campaign. So, within that short period of time, among very conservative voters who are likely to vote, we have moved up by 15 points, and Eggleston has declined. So we took back the White House in 2016, we took back America in 2016, and 2017, we take back Virginia.